Psst, check this out.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of the Backchannel. I am just now 3 days into another 2-week trip to Brazil. So a different background, but excited to record this episode. I want to record this episode relating to a tweet that I saw my friend Peter Walker from Carta post. Peter Walker is the head of data insights at Carta. He has amazing data, stuff that makes your mind turn, especially when it comes to venture capital and the ecosystem. And this particular infographic and sort of data tweet that he put out there, he said that more than 40% of LPs into venture funds under $100 million are individual people, not institutions or family offices. And I would say as you go smaller and smaller in these fund sizes, that percentage of LPs that are individuals goes higher and higher and higher. This is an important topic for me because there is a trickle-down effect in terms of capital that flows into startups, but also because I've been doing more and more work supporting sub-$100 million funds in their pursuit of raising capital. So I wanted to point out a couple of things that this means to me. It's not in conflict with what Peter is saying, but it is sort of an addition. He mentioned that the major reason why there is a liquidity crunch in emerging venture is because that many individuals who are the LPs in these funds can't really support new fund investments unless they have recycled capital. What that means is if you have somebody who's willing to put in a $50,000 check, the next time you go raise for fund 2, maybe it's 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road from when they wrote their first check, the chances that they'll have another open 50,000 chunk where they can re-up are low. And so it can be much harder to get that next fund funded because you can't go back to your existing investors and say, hey, would you like to re-up to fund 2? Now, I think the tweet had a bit of a flavor of this is why so many emerging managers will fail in raising fund 2. But I think the real takeaway, and this is a takeaway that even before seeing this data, I was stressing to fund managers, especially emerging managers under $100 million, is that you have to constantly be fundraising. You may be able to raise fund 1, but in order to be successful in raising fund 2, or if you've already raised fund 2 and you're expecting to be able to run fund 3 in the future, you need to be constantly refreshing your top of funnel, your relationships that could become LPs, because not only do these sales cycles last very long, it's very long and arduous to develop a relationship where family offices and high net worth individuals develop trust in you to want to back you. It's also because it's likely that the investors you get in this fund cannot be counted on for your next fund, as Peter was saying. And so you constantly have to be refreshing that pool of high net worth individuals that will be investing in your fund. All right, so the problem with fundraising is that it just seems so simple, right? Fundraising is asking people for money. That's the first big problem. The second big problem is that most of the people that are going out to try to fundraise have been trained their whole lives this idea of fake it till you make it. So those two things combined create one of the biggest challenges that I see with startup founders today, which is why I created Adamant Fundraising. It turns out faking it till you make it when it comes to fundraising is a recipe for wasting a ton of time and getting to suboptimal outcomes or just completely failing. And yes, there's a ton of content online that you can find that will give you little bits of what to do. But if you're looking for a way to bring all the best knowledge from somebody that you trust into one place and surround that with a supportive community, live events that will give you great feedback, and other support structures to make sure that you are doing exactly what you need to do to fundraise the right way, well, then I want you to come check out Adamant Fundraising. Adamant Fundraising is our online program and community that has helped hundreds of founders get through the process successfully, has been a part of raising over $400 million, and it's something that we're extremely proud of. So if this sounds like something that could help you out, check out adamantfundraising.com and reach out online, ask any questions. We'd love to consider having you. All right, back to the show. The main thing to note is that if you are raising for fund X, let's call it fund 2, you should know that you are also raising for fund 3. So for all my emerging manager friends out there who are raising capital, make sure that this motion of meeting investors managing those relationships, cultivating more trust and more connections is a 24/7, 12 months of the year, never sleep kind of motion for you. You cannot close a fund and decide, I'm going to take a breath. Now I can completely transition to searching for deals, closing deals. No, you have to divide your mind up, divide your team up to make sure that there is somebody that is always keeping their eye on the ball when it comes to raising capital from LPs. All right. We'll do more content on fund manager fundraising because I think it's fascinating. It's a space that I need to support more so that more funds get funded and those funds can fund more companies. But if you have any topic requests, especially for any of the listeners out there who are fund managers, let me know. I'd like to spend more time thinking about it, researching it, get experts to weigh in on it. All right. That's it for this episode of the Back Channel. We'll see you on another one where we talk about fundraising for fund managers, fundraising from LPs, but also, again, raising as a startup founder from venture capitals and angel investors. See you next time.